Well, good evening. This is Wednesday, the 3rd of September, 2024. I've decided to come here to Fairhaven Memorial Park in Santa Ana, California. And we are going to be visiting the grave of Cornelia Arnolda Johanna Ten Boom, better known as Corrie Ten Boom. Good evening, folks. Here to talk about another person who I highly esteem. Cornelia Arnolda Johanna, better known as Corrie, or her family called her Cor. She was born April 15th, 1892. She was the daughter of a Dutch watchmaker. She lived in Haarlem, Netherlands, Haarlem, Holland. If you don't know where that is, and I didn't either, I'm a bit challenged geographically, go to a map of Holland. It's pretty close to Amsterdam. In fact, the Ten Boom home, which you can visit today, it's a museum, is about 12 or 13 miles from the Anne Frank home in nearby Amsterdam. So if you're ever in Holland or in the Amsterdam area, you can visit both homes the same day. Yeah, as I said, she was born April 15th, 1892 in Haarlem, Netherlands. She was the youngest child of Casper Ten Boom, who was the watchmaker. And they have a very intriguing story. So we're going to walk to her grave that way, and we're going to talk about the life and ministry of Corrie Ten Boom. Corrie and her family were devout Christians. They were members of the Dutch Reformed Church, a very Calvinist group. I'm not Calvinist myself, but that's okay. There's many good Christians in the Calvinist Reform movement. But the family were dedicated Christians. They lived in a multi-story home in Haarlem, Holland. A book was made. Corrie wrote a book on her life in 1971 called The Hiding Place. It was made into a film in 1975. When it was in the theaters in 1975, I actually went to see the film. I watched the film again just yesterday to refresh my memory of it. They were part of the Dutch resistance of the German Nazis who invaded their land and were rapidly spreading throughout Europe. And of course, nothing was going to get in their way. This is Miss Ten Boom right here. She, as I said, they were part of the Dutch resistance. They, people from the Dutch resistance gave them Jews to watch over and to keep from the Nazis. They installed an alert buzzer throughout the house so that in case anybody rang the bell or a lookout saw anyone coming, they could hit the buzzer, and within less than a minute, the people that they were looking for could hide. I'm going to put a link to the movie. You can watch it. It's free on YouTube. It's 2.5 hours, but it's well worth watching. It will, especially young people today who, many of them are just, they don't know history. And as someone once said, they that don't remember history are doomed to repeat it. So it's worth watching. They were betrayed. They ran this hiding place for like 2 years or more. Finally, in 1944, they were betrayed by Mr. Jan Vogel, who pretended that he needed help for his wife, and Corrie cooperated with him, but he led the Nazis right to them, and they invaded the home. They couldn't find the hiding place where the Jews were hiding, but they arrested Corrie and her sister Betsy and her father and her brother and others, I guess. The old man, Casper, died just 10 days after the arrest, but Corrie and Betsy were sentenced to a concentration camp where they did very hard labor. By a miracle, Corrie was able to smuggle a Bible inside the concentration camp. The Holy Spirit, the Lord, just seemed to open a perfect opportunity, and they got it in there. And every night they would read the Bible to other prisoners, and they had prisoners giving their lives to God, and they prayed for their Nazi captors. She was released. Interesting, though, Betsy had a dream at the end of 1944 that they would both be released from prison before the year was over. Turned out Betsy got extremely sick and died. Betsy was horribly abused by the Nazi guards. So she died before the end of 1944. So she left prison. She went to heaven. Corrie was discharged by a clerical error. Somebody in the concentration camp office mistakenly released her from prison. So this dream that Betsy had came about. Corrie traveled the world, talked about the importance of dedication to God, of forgiveness. Forgiveness is a tough thing. It's something I struggled with for much of my life. I think I've got a pretty good handle on it now, but you know, I think back on people like Corrie Ten Boom, and the Nazi guards that did her wrong. She actually met, my struggles are nothing compared to her. She actually met two of the Nazi guards when she was on her speaking tour, and they asked for her forgiveness. They were so stricken in their conscience, and she did. She forgave them. And she always said, quoting her sister, "There is no pit so deep that the love of God is not deeper still." She finally died in 1983. Had a heart attack, I think. A stroke, actually. She suffered a stroke, and here she is. Kind of like standing on holy ground. This woman, I saw this woman too. She was interviewed by Pat Robertson in 1984. I watched a clip of the old 700 Club, and yeah, you could sense the Holy Spirit in her voice. So, rest in peace, Miss Corrie. I would be honored to stand anywhere near you in paradise.